Hey guys. Not really sure what happened in my last video, and that was really annoying. Anyway, so I want to talk about what mindset that I keep all the time that is always in the back of my head that has gotten me from the very beginning of when I started my, for you guys tuning back in, I apologize. Like my connection apparently in front of this gold is like really shitty, and I never had this problem before. I don't know what it is about this area. So thanks for tuning back in, and I have a great message for you all, so I'm glad you did. And I have been getting this question a lot recently, and it doesn't surprise me, because with the amount of people who are out there questioning themselves, asking people what they should be doing, where should I be going, who should I be hiring, where should I be working, right? Like, what does that tell you if you don't know, if you can't answer any of these questions? And that question is, how do you develop self-trust? That's the one thing that a lot of people are missing. And recently I've gotten this question from a client, which was, you know, we went through all this, we were conversating, we were messaging, and it came down to what you're missing is self-trust. Because she was asking me, what should I be doing? How should I be doing? Is this the decision I should be making? And I will tell you that that is not a decision, first of all, I want to make. And I can't make. Another person making a decision for you, as much as we want to believe that that is the safe route, is probably the worst route that you could possibly take in your life. And the reason why people seek other people's opinion about what they should be doing is because they don't want to take responsibility for their mistakes. Right? It hurts. It's painful to have to say, I fucked up. Right? It's painful. It's harder to blame yourself than to blame somebody else, right? Because we don't want to suffer that emotional pain of having made a mistake, right? It's so much easier to blame other people for making the wrong decision. And the problem with that mindset is that you will never be making any decisions in your life if you were always looking to push off the wrong decisions on somebody else. So let's go back to this question of how do you develop self-trust? And I'm telling you, from the very first moment I started investing in myself, investing in bodybuilding coaches and diets, and even just, okay, let's go back before that, investing my time into going to the gym every day, which was when I was 22. You know, I was still in college, and I was sort of at that I've had it kind of thing. And I started spending 30 minutes a day at the gym every single day. What about that decision? What was it in that decision that kept me going? Because it wasn't the small decisions. It wasn't the trust in, oh, there will be a gym tomorrow available. It wasn't the trust in, oh, I'll have a car to get to the gym tomorrow. It wasn't these little tiny things, right? There was a broader scope here that I believed in achieving, that made me really feel like it was worth my time and my energy, to the point where I started investing in personal trainers. And then I started investing hundreds of dollars in coaches. And then I started investing thousands of dollars in coaches. And then I started investing thousands more in personal development coaches, right? Like, the amount I started investing was very small, but it grew and grew and grew over time, because I realized I was getting something out of each and every person that I was working with. You see? And that's a decision you make. That decision's up to you whether you learn something from somebody or not. And more than not, you probably did learn something from that person, but you refuse to acknowledge it because maybe you're upset that you didn't get from A to B with a program or a diet or what have you. You know, usually the problem is you, in that you are the common denominator in the workshops that you go to, or the programs that you invest into, or a plan, or whatever it is. You're the common denominator in that. Whether you want to hear that or not, that's the truth. You're the common denominator in all your failed friendships or all your failed intimate relationships, right? And when we can realize this, we can start to take ownership. And when we take ownership, that gives us power over creating change, right? And I'm not going to go into a big spiel about that because I've talked about personal power endless amount of times. So go check out my blog, buildyourselfinside.com/blog. We're not going to go into that here. If you have any questions, feel free to private message me. But when you can take ownership over something and you start making your own decisions about things, this is how you build self-trust. And it's not something you can really coach. I mean, if I could coach this, if I could do sprinkle fairy dust on you and give you self-trust, I totally would. If there was a certification program out there that would allow me to sprinkle fairy dust on you in self-trust, I totally would. And there are NLP, neuro-linguistic programming techniques that will help you, that will help clients in order to trust themselves more. And I've already seen that shift in a lot of my clients using these techniques. But for those of you who are like, okay, well, I don't want to invest in that, or, you know, that pseudoscience doesn't interest me, or whatever it is, right? Here is a way that you can start doing this, right? And the process of building self-trust, it takes challenging your fears. Having self-trust and is not built through making the right decisions. I'm going to say that right now. Self-trust is not built through making the right decisions only. It's also built through making the wrong decisions and knowing that you can handle the outcome regardless of what it is. That is really where self-trust manifests, is when you invest a lot of money into something that you thought you were going to get a huge, a more enormous amount of value back, and maybe you didn't get as much as you thought. Or you go to a party, and maybe, let's say you're on a diet, and you go to a party, and you cave in, you eat all the pizza and whatever, Yeah, you break trust with yourself for a moment when you do that. But where self-trust is really built, you see, where self-trust really manifests is when you fuck up. When you eat that cake, when you spend all that money, when you break a leg, when you suffer the consequences, and you get up afterwards. Do you see the significance in this? Because how many more times do you fuck up than not fuck up, right? I mean, most of us learn from our mistakes. Most of us, if you're stubborn like I am, you're going to learn from your mistakes by investing your time in the wrong people, investing your time in the wrong relationship, investing your time in the wrong foods, the wrong diet, in the wrong business, in the wrong industry, right? And when you have the power in yourself to take ownership of that, and you take all the responsibility, not only do you have the power to change that and to make it into what you want and to steer yourself in the right direction, but you manifest the trust in yourself to be able to handle everything, to be able to handle yourself no matter what happens, to be able to handle your finances no matter what happens, to be able to handle your mindset no matter what happens. And I see, Jen, you just joined, and I'm so glad you just did, because this is for you, and for a lot of other people. But I think this is really for my clients. And Jen, I was just talking about how you can build self-trust, and like I was saying, this is something that is not built through making the right decision. This is through the way you build the ultimate self-trust in yourself is by trusting that you can make a decision, and that even if you fuck up afterwards, that you can get back up. Right? When I broke my leg, the first year I got into fitness and weight training, I broke my leg. I shattered it. I have titanium in my leg now, and I've had complications ever since, okay? I have pain right now in my foot, nerve pain. This has been 7-8 years, okay? And what keeps me going is that I have an ultimate broader purpose, right? It's not a trust in knowing I can get a hot body anymore, because that didn't last. You know, once you achieve that, it gets old, and going after the same achievement every time gets old, and it gets boring, and you're also doing it for yourself, right? So that doesn't last. You need a broader purpose, and that purpose is, and this is this is probably so important. And when you have a purpose that is bigger than yourself, and you're contributing to one other person or 10 other people or thousands of other people, that is where it becomes a do or die situation. And from the minute I started investing in body transformation programs, I really knew that I wanted to help other people do the same thing. And even though I have spent thousands, I will tell you, I have tens of thousands of dollars in debt. My family worries about it more than I do. I honestly, sorry, my screen is getting dark. I think it might be the sun. But anyway, I don't worry about my debt. I don't worry about my mistakes. And anyway, none of them have been mistakes. I've had to make that kind of investment to get to where I am right now, mentally and physically, more mentally than anything else. And what you'll learn from everything that you invest in is that you will get something out of it. You will get something, some little nugget, some little important piece of information that you will take on to your next endeavor. And when you can realize this, there is no waste, there is no risk involved, right? Because every outcome is achievement, like I said before. And self-trust is created, is manifested when you're like, okay, I'm going to invest in this program, or I'm going to invest in this coach or this trainer or this diet, or just even in a gym membership, right? And even if you don't get from A to B or A to all the way to Z, you start figuring out new systems, right? You start setting newer goals, maybe smaller goals. You start investing in other areas to kind of fill in the holes of what you're missing. You know, maybe if you're on a workout plan, maybe you need to invest in a nutritionist or in a personalized diet program, right? Or if you're building a business, maybe you need to invest in SEO or learning how to write copy, or you're every single major area of our lives has a lot of little niches that you need to learn about. And you're never going to learn all those things without taking a risk with your money. And whether you decide it's a risk or not is completely up to you. And if you don't feel like you've learned from it, then obviously it will feel like a risk to you, and it will feel like a failure. But if you can take one little thing that you've learned from it, there is no failure. So I hope you all got something out of this video. This video really excites me, really, when I think about how you all can utilize it and start building that trust in yourself, and know that you can handle everything. You can handle everything. You don't need anyone else to tell you what to do, okay? It's nice to have guidance, but you can't rely on guidance. You can't put your life in someone else's hands. And that is the key mindset that has kept me going, because I know at the end of my journey, with tens of thousands of dollars in debt and having titanium and complications in my leg and ongoing anxiety issues from past panic attacks, all of that will be fixed. All my debt will be erased. All my panic will disappear. Any other issues will go away. Okay. The physical pain in my leg will go away the more work I do with a what do they call it? They're not personal trainers. They're exercise physiologists. And when I know I can get that money to take care of myself, I'll be able to afford an exercise physiologist, which will decrease the pain that I'm going over. Do you see where I'm going with this? Do you see how it's like a trickle effect? When we can trust that we will get to our end goal, we will get to our life purpose. So keep climbing, guys. Don't stop. Keep looking for ways out. You will find it. I guarantee it. And I love that comment. Don't worry about the things that you have no control over. because all they would do exactly, and this is how anger is manifested, guys. This is why negative emotions exist, is because we try and control things that we can't, right? We try and manipulate relationships that don't work. We try to buy quick and easy weight loss strategies so we don't have to do the work, right? And then we get angry because it doesn't work, because it's not meant to work. And when you finally realize what does work, and in this case, you actually have to do less work, right? Not manipulating people is actually less work than manipulating people, right? When you actually start to go with the flow and pay attention to what works, life becomes so much easier, and you just let it unfold, and it becomes a beautiful journey. So thanks for putting that up, Kyle. And if you guys have any more comments, put it down below. I'm gonna get myself going, and I think we're just gonna do some cardio today. But like I said, why I'm here in this parking lot today, why I'm here right now after breaking my leg, after massive debt, after all these, you know, I've had hypoglycemia, I've been pre-diabetic, I've had all these health issues. Why am I still here? Because it is my life purpose to help people find and build and inspire themselves to build confidence and transform their lives and their bodies. That's what brings me here today. So on that note, this is Lydia from Build Yourself Inside. If you wanna read more about me or any other of my blogs, www.buildyourselfinside.com/blogs. And I look forward to seeing your comments and questions. Bye, guys.